Yeah, the school is great. It's an interesting mix of people with different backgrounds. So that's certainly a bonus for someone like me who, is trained as a microbiologist and has worked in aquatic systems of various kinds. But I don't have, formalized schooling and as much study in some of these um, other fields, such as large lake limnology. That's not something that I ever studied. There are other people that are working on toxicology and a lot of people doing human health related work. And so those people have really been mentors to me in how to bridge my work from being discovery based and learning about basic science and doing that sort of research, and now trying to transform that into being more applied work as well. So how can the things that we're learning about these systems be applied to society to benefit us all?
Students are engaged. They bring to every class a very interesting perspective that you would not find if I was in a regular econ program, right? Because they're bringing in all this information, this knowledge from these other courses in limnology and chemical hydrogeology and things that I don't know very much about. And it's fascinating for me as a teacher because I'm learning. And I'm also able to, I believe, impart something that most of these students have never engaged with before, which is the sort of economic side of things. And I think it's been a great learning experience for everybody.
That's it's very dynamic. We have high school students in summer try to come to learn hand-on experience or internship. And we have undergraduate student and we have graduate student, international visiting scientists. So we learn from each other. We learn everyone's good story and the mistakes. So I do find that the lab provide them a very good hand-on experience because sometimes when they learn from the textbook, if they don't play around here, they don't know which is really important and they could not connect what they learn to the reality, and then they thought, oh, it's not important. And for me, I think even clean the glasses is very important. Clean the tank actually play a big role. So that's what we learn from each other here.
Really interesting to me how even though we're all focused on water here, there are so many different disciplines and topics that are covered. For example, I don't really know anything about fish. I'm not a fish person. I've become a chemistry person since I've been here. But there are people whose research revolves almost entirely around fish or around bacteria. So even though we're all kind of rallied around the common theme of water, there's still so many different topics being explored, and people have such diverse passions about what they're researching.
I really focus on the human health aspects of my work. That's the part that really interests me, making sure that, the environment is not harming people is something that I think is really important.
I look at how different nanomaterials impact zebrafish, tiny crustaceans, and an aquatic fly species that spends its larval stage underwater. Using the techniques in our lab, I can look at genetic and chemical-based snapshots of what's happening inside those organisms, and often you can see things here that you wouldn't normally see just by looking at them from the outside. So it's a kind of early warning system.
I'm working with the Harbor District and the School of Freshwater Sciences to build these habitat hotels, which are old fry baskets actually for fish fries that we've repurposed to plant plants in to help little baby fish have a habitat to survive. Along these steel walls, there's not really much habitat for them at all. It's just pretty much a lot of mussels.
I work with two invasive species, primarily quagga mussels, which are a small mussel that attaches to rocks and substrate on the bottom of the lake. And then also round gobies, which are a small fish that also live on the bottom of the lake and eat the quagga mussels. So my work primarily is looking at kind of the interaction between those two and how round gobies, how them eating quagga mussels is impacting other fish that we enjoy, such as lake trout or lake whitefish.
I'm working on mapping the habitat for 4 harbors up the Lake Michigan coast on the Wisconsin shoreline. It's Port Washington, Sheboygan, Two Rivers, and Manitowoc. Looking at what habitat exists in these harbors, because it seems like something that should be known, but it's really nobody really knows what's down there.